Alright, looks like it's raining, but we just picked up this bike. 1992 Yamaha Yz250. Pretty ugly looking. I'll walk around. A little rusty. Pretty much solid. Missing the pipe, but has a nice FMF silencer on it though. Pretty nice. As you can see, that's not a good sign. Missing the reeds, the silencer, and the side plastic for right here. Otherwise, it is complete. Oh, and the lever up here. So, let's get her in the garage and see if we can get this thing to run. Alright, well, here it is in the garage. Whoa, what's this thing over here? A workbench? Holy cow. But anyway, I'm kind of embarrassed of what I paid for this bike. I paid $300 for it. It was up for $5. And I asked the guy, I'm like, is it locked up? And he said he has no idea. So I get there and it's completely locked up. And I'm like, well, you know, it's not worth much being locked up. Would you take less? And he's like, he's firm on $350. So I'm like, I drove an hour for this bike. I'm like, I'm not leaving with nothing. So I'm like, would you at least do $300, take off $50? And he had to call his friend and ask him, and it was a big deal. So basically what's wrong with this bike is it's completely locked up, solid. You can see the piston through there is stuck pretty far up. Kind of hard to tell, but you can see the piston is in there. And you can kind of see that water got to the crank, it looks like. So I'm guessing there's rust in the crank. I would have preferred the piston to be down lower. I probably would have saved the crank, but yeah, water must have gotten in there and wrecked everything. So possibly the cylinder's fine. I'm not sure if the crank is going to be fine. Maybe a little lubrication. Maybe it just has some surface rust, being hopeful there. I'm guessing it's kind of probably clapped, but we're going to go through it all and see if we can save it. Because otherwise, I mean, it's not a bad bike. Take off the graphics, put a different seat cover on it, paint the frame up, and it's pretty much complete. Get some new grips for it. I mean, this thing would be a ripper. So we're going to try and see if we can save the engine today. Fingers crossed that we can. We do have a nice silencer on it, and it looks like the air box is there. I'm guessing there's nothing in the air filter, but we'll check that out too. Let's see if there's coolant in here. See if it's holding any fluid here. Oh, there's coolant in there. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. But there is coolant. Definitely coolant in there. So that's good. That means that the hoses aren't leaking and the radiator's not leaking. So that's one step in the right direction. I wonder if there's any oil in here. I'm really curious to see what the oil looks like in here. Probably gonna drain that first, get that all out of here. Because I'm guessing there's a bunch of water in it. Ooh. The cap is looking pretty sticky on there. Ooh, not looking too good in there. That is not looking good at all. Looks like a bunch of dirt and mud is in it. Very odd. Let's see where the hole for the drain is. Right up there, it looks like. So we'll get to that, drain that out before we move on. Oof, that is rough. This one might be a tough one. We gotta drain the coolant. Drain that out from right here. Take a look underneath the seat. Look at the air filter. I believe the brakes work. Let's see here. Yeah, brakes work. Cool. Back brake works. Ooh, throttle is stuck. So I'm guessing the carburetor in here is pretty solid. Guessing the float in there is corroded away. But we'll see. You can see the VIN up here. Where is it? Is it on the other side? Might be on this side. There we go. So the 10th letter, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, is an N, and that matches up with a 92. So it was advertised as a 125, but when I got there, the guy said it was a 250. So you can see 250 right there, or 249. But transmission's locked up as well. You guys saw that earlier. It doesn't shift. So I don't know what's going on with that. The clutch does pull in a little bit, but pretty stuck. So this is going to be a project for sure. But let's start digging into it and see what we find. All right, let's get the seat off and see what the air filter looks like here. How comes that plastic? Disgusting. I don't think I've ever seen a worse air filter than that. Holy. Oh, that is disgusting. Ah. There's gotta be mice living in there. Take a whiff of that. Oh, nasty. We gotta vacuum that out. That is disgusting. Ugh. That's what was in there. Looks like air filter mixed with mouse nest. We got most of her out, but yikes. I'm guessing that's inside the engine as well. All right, let's try to get the tank off of here. Yikes. That's looking good. Always good when there's vines growing from the bike. It's like a rainforest. Alright, get this guy off of here. So, looks like we've got two radiators going into one right there. Guess we'll start with the spark plug. See what that looks like. Plug looks really good. Oh, that's funny. Look how bad that looks. Yikes. That is rough. That's really rough. What's around there? Oh, man. Just spinning. Okay. On there. Alright, let's drain the coolant.
This is gonna come shooting out. Ooh, that looks pretty gross. It's like a brownish green. Yummy, yummy.
Looks like we still have the CDI sitting right here. Get that out of the way. So I guess we can take the head off now and see what that piston looks like. Alright, we finally got those washers off. Pretty stubborn. Let's see what this looks like. There we go. The head isn't damaged. Looks pretty good. And the piston, see what that looks like. Ooh, a little rough in there. Probably let that sit with some WD. The cylinder wall still looks pretty good. Doesn't really look that bad, actually. Yeah, cylinder wall looks pretty good still. At least up at the top. Doesn't look that bad in there. We might actually get lucky with the cylinder. A little bit of corrosion in there. Ooh, did that one break off? Yeah, I think that one broke off. Yikes. Yeah, that one broke off of there. Crap. Darn it. This back side of that thing. You can see, oh boy, that is pretty dang rusty in there. I don't think that's moving at all. Wow. That is crazy rusty. Alright, we got the power valves unhooked here. The tricky part's gonna be getting these bolts off. I'm guessing they're pretty tight. Yeah. That one's coming. All right, let's see if she'll come off of here. It's moving. If I can make it all the way up, the piston's pretty high up here. It's a good sign that it's coming off on its own now. Okay, cylinder's off. Woo! Piston actually looks okay too. It's like a miracle. But I'm guessing you can see the crank in there is just a tad rough. Holy man, that's crazy. That's absolutely insane. Well, we'll try to clean that out the best we can and try to get freed up here. Something just fell out. Get the piston off, get that crank freed up. Gotta drain the oil out too. Just a little spray of WD in there. Alright, let's take off this cover and see if we can get a socket on the flywheel to turn it over. Ooh, holy. A little rust, anyone? Oh my gosh. That is really bad. Wow. I don't think I've ever seen one that bad before. That is crazy. Holy cow, that is bad. That's pretty solid. Wow. Let's see if I can get this gasket off of here. Oh, that's crazy. Come on.
Look at that. Jeez. That's pretty bad, I would say. And it's still locked up, it looks like. Look at this. It's like clay is forming down here. That's insane. Look at those chunks. I don't know if it's going to help much, but... Well, we got the piston off, and it looks like the rod has seen better days. Pretty up and down movement as well. So I think the rod bearing is junk on it. But I don't blame it. I mean, look what it had to go through. This has to be one of the worst bikes I've ever seen. By far. If not the worst. I mean, it's absolutely horrible. I don't know how a bike can get that bad, but here's the piston. The piston's actually not that bad. I think those rings would free up and you'd probably just buy new rings for it and use the piston. Because that thing is like, not bad at all. And then the bearing is locked up on it though. So, yeah, we're going to drain the oil, if there's any oil left in it, and see what comes out of there. And then we'll probably take off the side case here, because something's stuck. Alright, we're going to drain the oil here. Let's see what we got. Prediction, no oil, or very clumpy. Not a single drop of oil. Oh, that's not a good sign in there. Holy cow. Not a single drop of oil in that sucker. So bad. Look at that bolt. I mean, it's just insane how bad this bike is. Oh, finally got that sucker off of there. Alright. Now we can get the rest of the cover off. I shouldn't probably leave those on. There's water coming out. It's always a good sign. Ooh boy. Yep, you can see the water that was in it. That's good. See what the water pump looks like. Yeah, water pump is not that bad. Yeah, that still moves. Wonder if I have to take that thing off. Oh yeah, fun times. Clutch is still moving, doesn't look too bad. Basket looks pretty good. Oh, look at the bearing in there, holy cow. Oh, that's the seal actually. Oh, look at that, the seal is completely punched out of it. So I'm guessing what happened was, blew a seal, the person just left it for dead. And I'm guessing the crank went bad too. But you can see, if you look in there, look at that thing. And the bearing's behind there.
That's pretty crazy. So blew a seal, blew the crank, left for dead, and that's why it's in the condition it's in. Ooh, clutch plates are a little rough. Just a tad. Jeez. Look at that. Thing could come off of here. We got the nut off. That's a start. So this looks like this moves a little bit. Looks like the kickstart's like locked up or something. Let's see. There we go. That's working. That should turn freely though, if it's in neutral. This one's locked up big time. And you can see the seal really well in there now coming out of it. Moving. Alright guys, you got the crank to move a little bit. Rod moves and the crank moves a bit. I'll show you guys quick here what I'm dealing with. So this is how far I got it to budge. But it looks like the crank just like probably exploded in there. So you got it to move. It's moving a little bit. But I just saw at the bottom of the engine, I didn't see this before, there's a crack right there in the case. So this whole engine case is toast, and I think the whole engine is toast at this point. Every single part is rusty on it, every single part is junky on it. I'm sure like the clutch and stuff can clean up and the covers are fine, and the cylinder's actually good too. So that's a miracle, and then the power valves are worth some money. So I think what we're gonna do is just part this bad boy out. It's extremely rough. So I paid 300 bucks for it. Probably not the greatest buy in the world, but we learned a lesson, and don't buy bikes that have been sitting outside for 1,000+ years. This thing looks like it's been just rained on every single day, and I mean it's probably the worst bike I've ever seen. I mean, look at the damage. It's all rust. I don't think there's any way this thing can be saved unless you buy every single new part for it. Plus it needs the engine case, so yeah, she's a little rough. I'm gonna see if we can quick free up this carburetor. I don't know if that's possible or not, but oh, that's free. It was just the cable that was stuck. So carburetor's probably still fine. See what that looks like on the inside and sell that as well. Or it's just nice to have a Mikuni carb around. So
Anyway guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. This one is one we can check off on the not saved list. It's just a little bit too rough, but anyway guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Stay tuned for next video. And until next time, we are out.